It's 2020, and for some in particular reason, drama just can't escape Paramore. It's been in the band since they started 16 years ago, from multiple lineup changes to she said, he said, all this kind of stuff. It's just been a mess. And, you know, there's 3 people that are in the band now. Hayley Williams, obviously. Zac Farro, who was one of the founding members who did leave and he came back in 2016, but he left with his brother in 2010, Josh Farro. And then, of course, Taylor York, who's been in the band since, like, technically 2006, but wasn't made an official member till, like, 2008 or 9. We're talking about Josh Farro, who I guess I don't really know what he did after Paramore, aside from start a couple bands here and there. And I had heard that, you know, him and the band had talked in the past, especially after Zac, you know, stopped his beef with Hayley and Taylor and all that and rejoined the band. But it seems recently that Hayley and Zac have responded to some questionable comments by Josh Farro. This is Zac's older brother. This is on a Facebook comment I saw about Josh Farro. His name's blacked out, but apparently we found out that this was Josh Farro on, it looks like a Facebook comment. And basically this is what his comment said, alright? It said, "We should accept that pedophilia is a sexual preference." First speaker, no, we should not. It's not a preference. It's a preservation just like homosexuality. We're talking about sexual orientation, something we simply cannot change. Second speaker, aka, accepting pedophilia as normal. This is a subtle tactic to brainwash people into a state of tolerance, then from tolerance to acceptance, acceptance to advocacy. No. Basically, he just compared homosexuality to pedophilia, which is far from it, because homosexuality, you're dating someone either the same age as you or just obviously someone who is of legal age. Pedophilia, you're not doing that. That's 2 completely different things. And look, I don't want to get into the whole gay being a choice, this, that, and the other. I don't particularly think that. I think, you know, if that's genuinely how you feel about yourself, then, you know, that's how you should be. And that basically meant that you were born that way. You just didn't really know yet. You weren't really comfortable with it yet until you got to a certain age in your life, a certain point in your life where you finally were like, you know, this is me. That's something to be accepted about. And obviously, if you know anything about Hayley, at least in this case, she is very pro-LGBT. I mean, her co-founder of her hair dye company, Brian, is homosexual himself, or that's at least what I've seen or heard. I don't necessarily know if that's his, like, actual thing he goes by, but from what I've heard, that's what it is. So obviously she respects people enough and doesn't care what your sexual preference is. As long as you're a good person, who gives a shit? That's how everybody should live their life. It's like the people who freak out when gay people get married, because it's like, well, how does that affect you? Exactly, like, how does that affect you from going on and just living your normal life and letting 2 people who love each other just live their lives normally? Anyway, Hayley responded with this on Twitter, and I saw this yesterday, and I was wondering what the hell was going on, but now that I know, it makes it more clear. But this is what she said. "There's a reason there are only 3 people left in Paramore. Surprise, haters, it ain't 'cause of me. Paramore do not condone religiously/politically dogmatic beliefs which leave our LGBTQ plus friends, fans, and family feeling abandoned and hopeless. And you know, if that doesn't jive with you, well, feel free to go where all past members of Paramore have gone, which is literally anywhere else but Paramore. To Paramore's LGBTQ family, and color me Brian, I'm talking straight to you. You are full of love, and you are loved." So she did mention Brian in the tweet anyway. And then this is what Zac Farro had to say, responding to his brother's Facebook message, because obviously when you're the brother to someone, especially when your older brother says something or just an older sibling says something, people tend to think that you yourself, since, you know, you're related to that person, have the same beliefs. But Zac had to come out and make a statement stating that, you know, just because he's my brother doesn't mean that that's what I think either. This is what he had to say. "Letter to our LGBTQ plus fans. I want to say I love and support you and have your back. and most of all, stand with you. I do not condone any actions that do not love and support your community. When my brother and I left Paramore in 2010, there was a post about the band that I did not fully condone. My name was included on the post, yes, but I had not been briefed on what the entirety of that message contained. I'm openly speaking about this now, being not only from the founding drummer of Paramore, but also rejoining in 2016. I'm saying that I have a voice of my own, and my voice stands with our band and our fans, not with words including me in actions I do not agree with. We all have our own voices, and each powerful within themselves. Let's use this power for love and peace, and not separation and exclusivity. Yeah, obviously, he doesn't agree with what his brother has to say, and, I do applaud him for at least coming out, because he could have stood up for his brother. He could have done what any other brother, especially younger, would have done for their old. He would have just been like, maybe it was just a misunderstanding, but, at this point in time, I don't really think he cares, and the fact that he's in the band again, and hearing that back when he had left, and that article that came out that Josh Farro put out against Paramore, that Zac didn't sign off on it, but they used his name anyway, seems a little sketchy to me, and I don't necessarily know what his relationship with his brother is, but this has to, I guess, maybe bury the hatchet in some way. I mean, it's your brother, you can probably forgive him, but you're never going to look at him the same way, this, that, and the other. It's just a tough situation to deal with, and it seems like every single album cycle, or at least when it's over, there's always some shit going on within this band, and I just don't understand. You can say that Hayley and Zac didn't have to respond to this, but look at this. Former member of Paramore comes out and says this, so what do you think everybody else is going to think? This must be the standard that everybody in Paramore has for the LGBTQ community. And that is just 100% false. There are a lot of bands that have different views and stuff like that, and that's mainly the reason that band members leave or the band breaks up in general, like this, that, and the other. You're not going to sit here and have everybody in the same band have agreements on everything, and then when it's something like this, it really divides you, and it just, I don't know, it's like, I think they still want to call each other friends, but I don't think that Zac is as close with Josh as he was back then. I don't think the band in itself is as close to Josh as it was back then, and I don't think they really want anything to do with Josh at this point. Again, I'm not speculating, but after comments like that, it just kind of makes you question, like, what's going through his head? Like, even though he's been kind of MIA for a while, he tried those bands, didn't work out, and I don't know what the hell he's doing now, he knows that if he says something like this, it's definitely going to get out there, because he's the former member of one of the bigger pop-punk emo bands in the early 2000s, late 2000s scene, so it's going to be seen somewhere, and it's going to be pointed out, and then of course it's going to be shown to his former bandmates one way or another. I don't know how it got to Hayley or Zac. Maybe they saw this, maybe someone said, hey, your former bandmate said this, maybe you should respond to this in some way, because this just seems a little off. I don't necessarily know what else to think, and I don't necessarily know the full context, because it seemed like this Josh Farro comment was a response to somebody else's post, so I would like to see what he was responding to, but at the same point in time, what he said wasn't necessarily great either. I mean, comparing homosexuality to pedophilia, that is that's not even a comparison. That's two completely different things. One's not doing illegal things, the other one is, and deserves to be punished for it, while the other one, it is what it is, I am not, I support LGBT, I'm a straight guy, but, I've never looked at someone's sexual preference and said, nope, nuh-uh, I hate them already, because that's just a scumbag thing to do. However, you can look at a pedophile and go, oh, that's gross, because why are you so sexually attracted to little kids? And then they'll throw in the, well, it's a sexual orientation. No, that's not. It's really, really not, because, for a sexual relationship to work, it's got to be consensual. A person under the age of 18, or depending on where you live, some parts is 16, cannot legally give consent, therefore making it illegal, and automatically breaking the law right then and there. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Because this is just another crazy situation. More drama. Just when you thought it was all going smooth, they had this hiatus going on. They'll probably be back in a couple of years. Hayley Williams did the solo album thing, and I just would assume that since she can't tour for it anymore, that they're sitting down and they're at least starting the process of thinking about what to do next and whatnot, and then this pops up and you're like, good lord, can we not? We had the Farro brother thing go on, we had the whole Jeremy Davis lawsuit, the Hayley Williams divorce, and that road to this. I don't understand anymore. And there was the reason they took the hiatus, because for the first time in a while, they knew that they were going to come back with the same lineup from an album to another album for the first time since 2009, and they were going to just be drama-free. Well, it's been far from that. Aside from a few minor things here, this one's probably the bigger one, and I felt like I had to talk about it just because it's kind of despicable seeing that from a former Paramore member, and I get it too. Oh, you know, Josh Farro's come out and said he's very religious, he's very Christian. Yeah, well, so's Hayley, and she doesn't go out spewing that nonsense that you're talking about here. I don't know if Zac is or not. I don't want to say that he is or isn't, same with Taylor, but Hayley has come out and said that she follows Christianity, and obviously she has some different opinions than what other Christians have, because to Christians, or most Christians I should say, homosexuality is like a big no, but when you're not an asshole, you just realize it's really none of my business, is it? So, yeah. Anyway, enough ranting on. That does it for me. Stay safe out there, and, I mean, just be yourself. Don't hide who you really are, because in the end, you won't be happy until you're truly being yourself. So, that's all I have to say. Catch you all in the next one.